Are you saying there are no plans to address the crisis in the Northeast, the challenge of food security in the
Let me
Northeast?
now tell you that I have been more involved in the Northeast than most Nigerians. I was consultant to the government of the Northeast. In the worst days of Boko Haram, I went there 15 times. That state, Borno in particular, is more prepared for agricultural development than virtually any state I know in this country. You know why? In the heat of that war, I said to the governor then, the war is already here. We will see an end to it. What you will be compelled to deal with is the aftermath of the war. You need to go to Borno right now and see what is going on in agriculture in many places.
But let me bring your attention here to perhaps, because I'm finding it difficult to catch up with your unrestrained optimism now in terms of addressing food security now. Now, your agricultural revolution is based with the Anchors Borrowers program, which you flagged off at the outset of this administration. You rolled out about 500 billion naira credits to farmers?
No, 50 billion so far.
Okay, 50 billion naira credits to farmers now. And when you look at the potential cash cows in terms of food production in Nigeria, you look at Benue, Nasarawa, and Taraba states. These states have been ravaged by herdsmen crisis. So it's somehow amazing to us to see how overnight you can realize such a large-scale production from those zones.
Those are not the only states. I mean, rice, for instance, the big producers are not just Benue and Nasarawa and Taraba. They are Kebbi, Kano, Jigawa, Anambra, and
so you don't find the crisis in those areas a setback in your agri-plan?
It's a substantial nuisance, but it's not standing in the way of the sheer return and willingness of Nigerians to get back into agri. We are looking at ways of dealing with those crises between herdsmen and farmers. But if anybody tells you that because of them, agriculture is on the decline necessarily, that's also an exaggeration. I'm telling you.
So let's now assess the Anchors Borrowers program that you rolled out at the outset of your administration as the Agri Minister. What has been the benefit of this Anchors Borrowers program?
That's precisely why on rice, for instance, we rose from 5 million tons to 17 million tons. The biggest problem the farmer has been confronted with in this country is lack of credit. Because for a long time, bank interest rates were between 18 and 25% for agriculture. The banks have their reasons, but at that interest rate, nobody can produce food. So the Anchor Borrowers program gave an interest rate of 9%. And the response has been tremendous increase in volumes and quantities of rice.
Also the cassava revolution, how you came into this?
The cassava bread, for instance, is that? The cassava has always been here. We're again the leaders in the world, but they began a program of cassava inclusion in bread, and it actually started when I was honorary advisor to President Obasanjo and also chairman of PDP. The law wasn't passed. Number two, high quality cassava flour is only processed using flash dryers. They cost some money to build. A few exist now. But then the bread makers came and said that cassava included in bread doesn't rise. So the bread looks weak and small. So we're bringing a product called Bake Sure. We should have them shortly and get the master bakers to join hands and begin the process.
So in terms of job creation now, what are your projections?
There's no bigger creator of jobs than agriculture. The only problem is the youth. It's going to take some time to woo them in. And the only way
what incentives are you coming up with?
Mechanization and land clearing.
Let me take you to cocoa. Cocoa production used to be a major foreign exchange area.
An embarrassment for your dear country. We are relaunching cocoa and working in partnership with USAID. We are relaunching cocoa in Ondo.
So what strategy are you coming up with?
IITA is working with us using tissue culture. We are targeting between 10 and 15 million trees per annum. And we're looking at cocoa because it grows in 28 states. It's a shame, but we must get back to where we were, or up to where we should be in cocoa.
Last year, there was a scandal about fertilizer distribution. I wonder if you've been able to address that.
We have people, agro dealers, who are contracted by the ministry to deliver agro inputs to farmers. A good program began in 2014, 13 and 14. By 2015, the Nigerian devil got involved. People who didn't deliver anything filled forms and came to make claims. Now, when we came in last year, we inherited a debt of 67 billion naira, twice the size of my ministry's budget. We have been paying those debts, and we haven't finished. So we devised a new system now. The GES will be modified. Farmers are not looking for subsidies or gifts. If they have cheap credit, they'll buy what they want where it is available. Our job then is to make sure that the quality of fertilizer we have is the correct type.
Let's look at this, the climate change. How does that affect our homegrown agricultural policy? Because Nigeria is now a signatory to this climate change deal.
Very seriously indeed. The rains are reducing in the sub-Saharan region and increasing in the south. You see the floods, even Lagos, Port Harcourt. The southern states are overwatered. The northern states don't have enough water. For the north, we'll have to do more dams and lakes and do more irrigation. And we have to intensify efforts at this green belt so that the effect of desertification is reduced. And then we have to plant crops that are drought resistant and also flood resistant. And in that regard, IIT is working very seriously with us. And finally, we have brought back the 3 universities of agri under our ministry. For nearly 16 years, they moved away from intensive agricultural education to more liberal arts.
Talking about the incentive to attract the youth into agriculture.
Cheap credit, which the Bank of Agric will be offering shortly. We are restructuring the bank. We are getting every farmer to become a depositor with the bank because we have applied for a second license to allow the Bank of Agriculture to take deposits. Once we can bring interest rates, and I'm pushing for 5%, I know I will have resistance, then mechanization and land clearing. And in fairness to the young people, the response to the call has been very, very impressive.
Now, how much of political will is there to drive the agricultural revolution you are championing?
I think we now know that it's a matter of, what do they call it, an existentialist issue now. We either feed this country well or lose it, right?
People are saying there is a re-emergence of a cabal in the agricultural sector with the recent scam, alleged scam of the fertilizer distribution.
Those who have blending machines are the ones who were recruited to blend. Initially, there were only 9 of them. And I called them and said, no, you must include all other blenders. Then we sent a team to go around and make sure that their machinery were in good shape. Because some of them will tell you they have blenders.
But we understand that the central bank and the sovereign investment authority,
they funded it.
Are in the know of this scheme.
No. Yeah, they are. They funded it. They put the money together to buy the phosphate and bring in. But what I'm saying to you is that some people who don't have blending facilities also then turned up and said, we can blend. We found that we're using shovels and wheelbarrows to blend.
Does this suggest that there truly exists a cabal in the agri sector?
There will always be people who want a monopoly. The business of government is to make sure that such monopolies don't exist.
The Honorable Minister of Agriculture, Chief Audu Ogbeh, thank you so much for bringing out so much amazing insight into your agricultural revolution plans. Wish you the very best of luck. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed, and thank you for offering me a chance to talk about these things. Thank you.
And that's it on this episode of Question Time. Is the federal government getting it right on its mandate on food security?
Send us your comments on our various social media platforms showing on your screen. Join us next week for a fresh episode of the show on Channels Television. Many thanks for watching. I'm Benga Ashuru. Bye for now.